Chapter 13, 91, Separation Song Forces. Wu Yong back. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Whether it be clear wind blades, clear jade lightning, clear jade dripping wind, or profound immortal sound, the essence of these variation moves was wind path. The Wu clan ancestor whom had created this immortal battlefield killer move had clearly cultivated wind path to the extent of being able to imitate other paths with it, touching upon sword path, lightning path, water path, and sound path. In Wu Yong's hands, this move had outstanding effect. Fang Yuan was helpless, while Feng Zhuge was in a dangerous situation. Profound immortal sound became more concentrated and sonorous, while the musical sounds on Feng Zhuge were suppressed until they were almost inaudible. Fang Yuan was helpless. He had a lot of immortal goo and immortal killer moves, countless desolate beasts, ancient desolate beasts, and so on. But when facing the rank 8 goo immortal Wu Yong, these things appeared to be superficial. They were not useful enough to serve any purpose. Only reverse flow protection seal could be relied upon by Fang Yuan to maintain his unharmed state. Unfortunately, even this trump card could not resolve this dangerous situation. Profound immortal sound was becoming clearer and louder. Fang Yuan's reverse flow robe was shaking while the reverse flow river continued to decrease in volume so fast that it was startling him. But Fang Yuan was more anxious about Feng Zhuge. Red blood was flowing out of Feng Zhuge's nose, mouth, and eyes. His body was shaking, and it was getting more intense. Damn it! If this goes on, Feng Zhuge's killer move will be broken and will definitely backlash, causing heavy injuries. Adding on Wu Yong's attack, he might even die immediately. Fang Yuan understood this, but was powerless to do anything. He naturally was not worried about Feng Zhuge, but if Feng Zhuge died, it would be his turn to face Wu Yong. Even if airlock's effect dissipated later on and he could use omnidirectional travel again, he would not have the chance to do so in front of Wu Yong. However, just as the situation was gradually tilting in favor of Wu Yong, Feng Zhuge suddenly let out a breath of air, his body relaxing. Soon afterwards, a unique aura rose from his body. Feng Zhuge slowly opened his mouth and started singing in a weak voice. The tone of his voice was not high, it was soft and low, but it was clearly heard by Fang Yuan and Wu Yong. His singing gradually became slightly louder, like a low murmur or like soft sleep talking on a quiet night. A sudden emotion rose in Wu Yong's heart. Wu Yong's expression rapidly changed. He had protected himself with layers of powerful immortal level defenses. But when he heard this song, these defenses actually seemed to be non-existent, letting the song evoke emotions within him. Fang Yuan's expression also changed. Although he did not feel anything, intense ripples were set off on the surface of the reverse flow robe. This situation was even more serious than when he had faced the profound immortal sounds attack. Incredible! He possesses such a powerful sound path killer move. It targets anything and everything near it. I am also within its range. I should get away from Feng Zhuge. Fang Yuan quickly retreated. He was doing this not only for himself, but was also trying to help Feng Zhuge. Wu Yong made the same choice and was even more thorough in his retreat. His body disappeared without a trace. Being able to retreat or advance at will, this was the superiority of having territorial advantage. The immortal battlefield started attacking even faster and more wildly. Profound immortal sound, clear wind blades, clear jade dripping wind, and clear jade lightning. These 4 variation moves appeared together and covered Feng Zhuge in multiple layers. Feng Zhuge ignored them, using his body to firmly resist all the attacks, while continuing to sing. The song was a pure and simple tune, but it contained the boundless profundities of sound path. The song gradually became louder. It was not an instant rise, but a gradual and gentle one, alternating between low and high pitch as it rose. Emotions coiled around Wu Yong's heart, making him even more puzzled. What sound path killer move is this? What kind of power is this? The song suddenly dropped to a low pitch, and incomparable gloominess and sentimental feelings attacked Wu Yong's heart, making him have an urge to cry. Without any warning, a word emerged in Wu Yong's mind: separation. The pain of separation, the sadness of separation, the gloominess of separation, and the reluctance of separation. Splitting up with your lover, never seeing your friends again, and the death of your loved ones. Separated, but the past remains the same. Separated, as old friends bid farewell. Separated, like the setting of the sun. Separated, like falling flowers that convey deep sadness. The song was sometimes mournful, like it was complaining about the injustice of fate, sometimes sad, as if it was questioning the cruelty of reality, sometimes resentful, like it was screaming internally, and sometimes gloomy, like crying without tears falling out, kept deep within oneself. Huff! Wu Yong's body suddenly shook fiercely as he coughed out a large mouthful of blood. His expression looked incredulous because he shockingly discovered that immortal battlefield killer move, 4 clear transforming winds, was actually disintegrating and breaking apart. None of the goo worms that formed this battlefield killer move were destroyed because of the song. Even the mortal goo were intact. Naturally, some goo worms had been destroyed when Fang Yuan had reflected the attacks with reverse flow protection seal, but Wu Yong had immediately replenished them, and there was no actual harm done. What made Wu Yong astonished was these goo worms had not received the slightest of damage, but they were no longer under his control and had begun to separate from each other, not willing to cooperate and work together. This was absurd. If the coordination of 1 or 2 goo worms was in chaos, it did not matter as long as they were not the cores of the killer move. If a part of the goo worms were destroyed, as long as they were not the cores, the killer move could still be maintained. But now all the goo worms had separated and were leaving. Wu Yong was simply unable to control them. The culprit behind this was the song from Feng Zhuge. Soon Fang Yuan also sensed what had happened. He detected that the whole battlefield was in the midst of crumbling apart. Fang Yuan was inwardly very surprised. Wu Yong sensed the situation was awry and wanted to abort the battlefield killer move 4 clear transforming winds. But it was too late. At the very next instant, the whole battlefield disintegrated. The 3 immortals saw the clear sky and the white clouds once again. Wu Yong coughed out a mouthful of blood. He was forced out of hiding. His expression was pale as he staggered back due to the heavy injuries. An immortal battlefield killer move was different from a goo formation. If a goo formation was destroyed, the goo immortal would usually not suffer heavy injuries. But when an immortal battlefield killer move was destroyed, the backlash would normally be heavy and severe. The stronger a killer move was, the greater the power of the backlash. 4 clear transforming winds. This was a grand killer move that Wu Clan had used to subdue southern border. It was terrifyingly powerful. Hence, when it disintegrated, the backlash on Wu Yong was extremely severe. What an amazing killer move! What is its name? Wu Yong gazed at Feng Zhuge and asked. Feng Zhuge did not reply him. Instead, he continued singing. Wu Yong's expression changed again. At this moment, he could not hold back anymore. He took out the immortal goo house, clear jade dripping wind. Tiny bamboo building. Wu Yong entered this rank 8 immortal goo house, which had powerful defenses, healing himself calmly inside it. The matter of immortal essence expenditure was no longer the main issue. Wu Yong had no choice but to do this. But soon the result that had shocked him occurred once again. Under the effect of the song, Clear Jade Dripping Wind, Tiny Bamboo Building actually started to shake and showed a slight sign of disintegrating. This was an actual rank 8 immortal goo house. This meant that Feng Zhuge's killer move was at rank 8 level. Seeing this, Wu Yong's eyes shined with a terrifying light, and without tending to his injuries, he directly controlled the immortal goo house to collide into Feng Zhuge. An immortal goo house had no clear weakness. It was the essence of formation path. Immortal goo houses could rampage and destroy everything in a battlefield. This was not just a fact from past human history, it was also tried and tested common wisdom that Fang Yuan learned in the 500 years of his previous life. Naturally, every immortal goo house had its own unique power. For instance, He tribe's dark prison could tame ancient, desolate beasts. Another example was 33 heavenly halls of Baixiang Grotto Heaven. It was an immortal goo house with extraordinary defense and it was most proficient in storing and preserving immortal materials. But unfortunately, 33 Heavenly Halls was only an incomplete immortal goo house. It had suffered serious damage in the past and had now already lost its movement ability. Clear Jade, Dripping Wind. Tiny Bamboo Building naturally had its own killer moves, but Wu Yong's act of directly colliding into Feng Zhuge was also a wise choice. After all, activating killer moves required time. Direct collision would spend the least amount of time and was also the most straightforward. Feng Zhuge's immortal killer move might be shockingly powerful, but he seemed to be unable to move from the spot and could only passively face attacks. This flaw had already been noted by Fang Yuan and Wu Yong. The defenses on Feng Zhuge were almost exhausted. If Clear Jade Dripping Wind Tiny Bamboo Building collided into him, he would definitely turn into meat paste. At this precarious moment, Fang Yuan could not just watch from the sidelines. When Wu Yong finished with Feng Zhuge, it would be his turn next. Airlock's time limit had not been reached yet. Fang Yuan moved forward and blocked the path of Clear Jade Dripping Wind Tiny Bamboo Building. Fang Yuan could not activate Strength Path Giant Hand. Most of his attention was on maintaining Reverse Flow Protection Seal. He was only able to transform his arms and hands into dragon arms and claws, cover them with dragon scales, then activate Rank 7 Dragon Strength Immortal Goo. These Immortal Goo were all borrowed from Wu Clan, and now they were being used against Wu Yong. Wu Yong felt his chest tightening at this sight, and intensely poured in his immortal essence into the immortal goo house. Boom! Both sides collided, and without any surprise, Fang Yuan was sent flying. His strength was inferior to Clear Jade Dripping Wind Tiny Bamboo Building. He was like a cannonball that was shot far away. But he suffered no injuries because of Reverse Flow Protection Seal. On the contrary, Clear Jade Dripping Wind Tiny Bamboo Building lost many mortal goo from the collision. With this opening created, Feng Zhuge's song became even more effective. Wu Yong seized the chance, continuing to control the immortal goo house to collide into Feng Zhuge, while at the same time he began to concentrate on activating a killer move of Clear Jade Dripping Wind Tiny Bamboo Building. The immortal goo house was about to collide into Feng Zhuge, but Fang Yuan could not return in time. However, right at this moment, Feng Zhuge suddenly moved and flew to the sky. Wu Yong's attack missed. His expression immediately showed shock and fury. Feng Zhuge could clearly move since the start, and had intentionally done this to deceive the enemy. The song was still continuing. Immortal Goo House Clear Jade Dripping Wind Tiny Bamboo Building was disintegrating. From the surface, it looked like a two-storied bamboo stilt building. Although it was a rank 8 immortal goo house, it used few goo worms. It was not like those immortal goo houses which were huge. They had a large number of goo worms. With only so few goo worms, Feng Zhuge's song was clearly even more effective. First, bamboos began to separate. The bamboos on the edges even directly left the immortal goo house. These bamboos were naturally not real bamboos. Soon after leaving the main body, they emitted bright jade radiance as they disintegrated into countless little goo worms. Wu Yong's expression turned gloomy. The situation was extremely unfavorable to him. At this time, Fang Yuan neared once again. Wu Yong coldly snorted, gazing deeply at Fang Yuan and Feng Zhuge before he mobilized Clear Jade Dripping Wind Tiny Bamboo Building to leave. In just a few moments, Clear Jade Dripping Wind Tiny Bamboo Building left the battlefield, becoming a small black dot in the horizon. He had actually taken the initiative to retreat,